DIY. So I've got the boots laced, and now it's kind of ready for epoxy, and it should be finished up besides testing and wearing them and seeing how comfortable it is. Got this suitcase finished up. Uh, just letting things drip and things like the silicone and the paint. It's not perfect. I mean, people will sand it and things to make it perfect and stuff. But the silicone has dried for the most part. Uh, basically, so it, so I'm kind of painting over most of it. Repaint and put another coat. I put some lacquer. It was supposed to be clear lacquer, but somehow it's not turning out clear. So I'm gonna probably have to use clear silicone, the cyclone water and silicone. So I've got this to redo, I think. Also, just going to let you guys see a few more things with this. I also wanted to show how the lacquer didn't clear up and also dry, I think, on like rubber and kind of like rubber bands that I use or fabric. Kind of learning a little bit. But I'm kind of into the painting, finish painting this real fast just to get it back to where I had it. Didn't want to just, have the lacquer and things, or, just, settle for where, it's for older operating system stuff, but I'm going to squeeze out silicone when this dries and finally finish it up, I think, and hopefully it clear coats better. So pretty used any leftover paint to paint some of this cake box, so this, and then I've got a lacquer finish up the suitcase, use clear silicone, so, and then the harness. So I could probably move some of these boxes that I've been using the excess paint for. Started to fall apart. And then I've got some clear silicone. What I'm going to do first is smear on the clear silicone. And then I'm going to use the brush with the water and then brush it in. So I just squeezed some of this clear silicone on there. So I got to just open this lid. Get this prepped up. I was thinking of using a clear piece of plastic. So I got a clear piece of plastic, and then I'm going to put some silicone on this harness and also the scrunchie. So I'll put some on the harness, and I'm going to just use my fingers and smear some on the scrunchie. Kind of stretch this out so I could get as much silicone. It's going to help weatherproof. I might add a little bit of the water-based stuff. So, okay, so I got this coated. So I'm just basically going to go over here and keep that right there. So this harness is going to be a little bit tough. I'm not sure if I'm going to use water with it. I didn't use water, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to use the brush and water for that. So, all right, so I got the first part. Hopefully move the rubber piece. Alright, so even moved it further, but I got another section of the harness, and I could probably move this buckle, and I basically I'm gonna probably move it up first and then move it down. I basically put silicone on both sides and then use my fingers and spread it. So right here you kind of see I moved the harness so that everything is just more easier to work with. Then I applied some silicone on both sides, so there's both sides. So this is just how things worked out to be the kind of the easiest and weather coated. All right, so I just readjusted the buckle, got it over where I already siliconed, and then basically put the last part of silicone. And then I can move on to this. I also want to recommend if I have any harnesses, and here's the brush and jar. So that basically, so this plastic bag actually was only good to kind of put the tube there. So that's a decent reminder. So now I just basically have this brush kind of put it in a good spot to always kind of, or maybe use both hands, and then I'm going to brush on with the uh, brush basically. So uh, hopefully this silicone clears up and doesn't affect the paint underneath as much as what the lacquer did. It basically didn't dry as clear as I wanted it, so I repainted it. So hopefully this hopefully just a clear coat basically, and keeping the you know, just how things are looking, I guess. Hopefully it gives it a decent sealant. That I've got to just pay attention to. Hopefully, so pretty basic stuff. Probably use a few things with this, but now to try to you know, remove some of the bristles, I got a piece of cardboard or something. Actually clean off the brush as much as I can, and then so I'm not going to use, I got most of the bristles out, and then I would kind of you know, go where the bristle is, so you kind of see a small piece, and basically pick up the bristle with the brush. So you know, if I have any other projects that might have lint or things like that, you know, to remove, you know, and also you know, and also I could really turn just to get rid of this, even though this side isn't really puddled. And also I see kind of like a hair or a bristle right there. So all right, so just turn the suitcase. So now kind of hoping this is going to go a little easier. Probably going to use another, and also having pretty much a clothes hanger to finish it up shouldn't be a problem. So I'm going to use both hands and just use the rest of this onto these gloves. Alright, so I did the first, and I'm going to get up to the seam on this one. Alright, so that was pretty easy. And also just, you know, doing something extra for this pair of work gloves, which was probably for $1, but it's pretty awesome. So now I've got this this other one. So I guess wiped any excess from the bag, turned it over. All right, so I coated the wrist area, so I'm not gonna be too worried, kind of too much wasted or anything, but at least one side is going to be really sealed. And here's a look at my next items. I'm going to actually got the wrong pair of jeans, but I've got two pairs. And then I want to try to also find like a t-shirt, and also, so this is, I'm gonna do, so this is gluing the boot. So I started off with the other boot, I did a little bit of whatever was loose on the tip first. So I glued it once, and then I added, so it held. So I was, it was flexing, maybe two to 3 centimeters. And then I added another coat, and then I started to go down to the uh, bottom sole. Last part was holding this piece, and then now I'm gonna try to run a bead on this top. So I'm gonna do one thing at a time with one area, and making sure things are kind of holding. Maybe I could press things and then compress parts of it, maybe add epoxy. I've also been I also kind of glued this piece, so it's pretty solid and stuff. At first I wasn't going to try to, I was going to try to, keep the clip, as clean as possible and stuff like that. But I think I'm going to have to, uh, basically, uh, just epoxy dip basically. So I got a bunch down. So this was like kind of like lifting up. This whole thing was lifting, and just added 5-minute epoxy, and um, before I pretty much decide to work on the other side of the boot. So I'm gonna just keep holding and bonding as much as I could, and hair dry it, and then kind of let it sit until I work on the other side. I'm probably going to so I've got the hair dryer right here. I'm going to keep this hair dryer just in this area because I do a lot of epoxy. And so I was holding that down, and even if it still flexes a little bit, I could always go back and touch up some areas. But using this hair dryer to help speed up drying the epoxy is probably something useful compared to some of the other times that maybe the epoxy, some of the other attempts and ways to repair stuff, using a hair dryer to dry epoxy might be useful. It just seems it blows hot air, but also small particles could pretty much attach to any of the adhesive, and then give it a better finish, I would think. So I'm definitely going to try to basically finish this up. So I was able to use the hair dryer and just any loose spots, and with both hands after applying the glue, use a hair dryer, and it should help dry and pretty much have the glue just drying a lot faster and smoother, I think, touching up other spots. Getting pretty much all the tacky stuff dried up. So slowly just warming up and drying up the epoxy. So yeah, working on this side, it is quick epoxy, and you're gonna see hopefully that all this stuff is going to dry and epoxy and look pretty fashionable again. So all right, so you kind of see it on this. I did use a little bit of the hair dryer, and it did start to just like harden up basically, and like it cut back like a minute or two, or just any issues with. So if I'm repairing glass chips, or just use a hair dryer, it's going to really warm up and have one of the chemicals